We are Gathering of the Geeks. We are a podcast and a YouTube show built around the things we as geeks all love. Hashtag we gather on Sundays. Thank you for checking out the one about Geekin on the Bayou. I'm one of your hosts, Emmet, and I'm joined by the Ted Lasso and my coach Beard, Chris Evans. Chris, how you doing on the Bayou today?
Good. What are you doing on the bike?
I'm doing great on the Bayou today. Uh, Gathering
Were
of the
you
Geeks is
born on the
available on.
bayou by any chance?
Are we what? Sorry?
That the song "Born" isn't it "Born on the Bayou"? Is that
Yeah,
the
Born on
song?
the Bayou by
Yeah,
CCR. Yeah.
yeah, it's a good song.
Yeah,
I like it
wrestling on
too.
the bayou, geeking on the bayou,
I
just
think
all
everything
in
is
the
gonna be on
bayou,
the
man.
bayou from.
All yeah, it's just all in the bayou from now
Yeah.
on. Gathering of the Geeks, it's available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. All you have to do is type in Gathering of the Geeks, and you will find us right there. Eric, thanks so much for hanging around. Ian, I hope you're here as well. Chris, is there anybody in TV shows or movies now where you see yourself in that person?
Currently on TV,
Mm-hmm.
not really. I don't know. That's a good question.
Mm,
It's when you add because you automatically want to say a character you like. You know
that's
what I
right.
mean? Like I would love to say, "Oh, I'm this character,"
Mm-hmm.
but that also I just want to be that character.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a combination of like Ted Lasso and someone else cool. I don't know though.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I want to be Daniel
Mm-hmm.
Malloy, which probably
Exactly.
not. I don't think I would side on that fence. How about you?
Yeah, I was trying to think about it too, and like your instinct is to want to be, a good person who has no
Yeah,
flaws. But then I watch TV shows. I'm like, oh man, all these jaded people and angry people and depressed and sad people. Like I relate more to those people than like a fake character. Like a Ted Lasso. Like I've never met a person like that before in my life. I don't even know if they exist.
they
So, but
do.
like like a real person who has flaws. Like I like to think about Carmi from The Bear, where he's sad all the time
Mhm.
and doesn't know how to interact with people. Um, like I'm not sad all the time. I'm sad sometimes, but I don't know how to talk to people like in real life, like have real conversations with people. And I feel like he has that. I'm like, oh, okay. Like I have an awkward nature to me where it affects my personal relationships like he does. But like I don't see myself in anybody, and I've never been drawn to like even as a kid, growing up or whatever.
Mhm.
Like oh, I want to be that person's just like me, and I want to be continue to be just as good as they are. And I don't know if that's a I don't know if that's a thing or not. Being able to see yourself in
I,
something that you love or you like,
I
and
wanted to
thus
be
making it
Dracula as
more
a kid,
enjoyable.
so
Yeah.
I
Well,
kind
that's
of
it. Like I wanted to be Batman, but like that does like I don't know if that matters actually seeing like your actual self on the screen, if that's a thing or not.
no. I'm not sure. I mean, I get compared to. I think it's easier to be when people compare you to characters,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can kind of dissect that as you will. Like we've talked about, I've been compared to Ted Lasso, of course,
Mm-hmm.
Ross Geller,
Yeah.
and Sheldon Cooper quite a bit. So that's an interesting trifecta, really.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I like to tell myself a kind of a mantra, and I've had this for years: I'm not the Louis.
You're not the Eeyore of the of
Right.
your
I
group.
always think about that. Not just because of the series, but just in general. That's kind of been a thing of mine. I'm not the Louis.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I think that trying to see yourself in a character is always interesting, but it's just hard to because, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
we always want to be the good guy. Nobody ever says, "Hey, you know what? I'm that asshole from Goodfellas
That's
or
right.
Joe
Yeah.
Pesci from Goodfellas."
That's right.
I don't think anybody really comes out with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Or, "Hey, I'm Scarface."
Yeah. It's an interesting idea, like and then also on the fact like we like rooting for the good guys because
Mhm.
we think ourselves to be good people, but then we love the evil character as well. Like people love
I,
Scarface or Tony Soprano or the
I do
Joker
love
or
villains.
anything like that, right? Yeah.
The villains are awesome.
Mm-hmm. It's
Mr.
interesting how
Sinister.
you, yeah. See that you are not Mr. Sinister, that's for sure.
No, unfortunately. I mean, you can only make so many clones before that gets diluted.
And then you're in big trouble.
Then you end up in the Jonathan Hickman Krakoan thing.
And
Zing.
we definitely don't want that.
No.
Let's avoid that.
Eric says I'm going to become the Joker. I am working on it. It didn't today feels like. Hey, Cookie. The CCR song is about Gambit, isn't it? It's about him and the Teeves. That's correct. Hey, Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
What uh, what characters is anybody watching? What characters do you guys see yourselves as, or is that
Hmm.
something you guys have? I
Like,
want to.
I feel like it's more of a kid thing. Like when you're a kid, you want to be what you see. Like if it's a superhero or something. I don't know if you get into the older age where you see yourself more in what you're watching. I'm not sure.
I think it's a shift because I think as a kid, you want to be anything you see. Like I want to be Winnie the Pooh
Sure.
or something. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
as an adult, you kind of like, well, I appreciate the values of this character.
Hmm.
Again, I wanted to be Dracula when I was like 4 years old,
Hmm.
so that kind of it's a different thing. That's my take.
My son and his friend want to be Wolverine and Deadpool for Halloween. Just because they've
Hmm.
seen the movie trailers. Like they haven't seen the movie. They're far
I
too young to be
approve.
watching those movies. But
I say let
um,
him watch.
yeah, I keep being so tempted, but then I would keep trying to like remember that it's not for kids.
Which one
There's,
wants to be Wolverine?
I think my son wants to be Wolverine this year, which is great. Like I'm cool with
Smart
that.
kid.
Like we watched. I forget what we put on the other day. It was the Wolverine he watched the other day.
Oh, do you like it?
I wasn't home. We watched it with my wife. My wife asked me if he could watch it, and I was so excited that he wanted to. I didn't really care if there was mild violence in it or not.
Oh, it's not
Um,
mild.
it's it's not the one to watch. Like that, I think that was the first one that he had really wanted to watch. Like that's not it. Like X-Men and X2 were really good to watch, and even
Yeah,
Origins is probably fine for him to watch. But yeah,
I
he's
don't
all
think
in
Origin's
on
fine for anybody to watch.
yeah. He's all in on Wolverine. He wants the claws and all that good stuff.
I like his style. That's a smart kid. I'm also going to be Wolverine this Halloween,
Yeah,
so there's that.
perfect.
Yes, I'm, that's going to be fun. So he says, I've been binge watching Yellowstone all weekend. Beth is the new goal. I've only seen one episode of Yellowstone. I don't remember who Beth is.
Beth is the daughter of Kevin Costner's character.
Okay. I
Mhm.
actually really wanted to watch Yellowstone because everybody I know who watches it tells me I would adore it,
I think so.
but I just, how I watch things.
Yes, I do know that.
Lauren says, I watched an episode of Only Murders in the Building. Really good season opener. Yes, I agree. We're going to get to that, though.
Hmm.
Oh,
Cookie,
that's
what season are you on of Yellowstone?
in the world of Only Murders in the Building, it'd be funny or fun to wonder which is Oliver and which is Steve Martin here. I don't know. I might have to be the Oliver in this scenario. I'm not sure. And I do
Yeah,
like,
yeah, because yeah, I think I'm funny, but I'm not funny. Uh, yeah, so that. Oh, you're getting to the good stuff. You got lots more to go though. That's good.
how many seasons are there of Yellowstone?
I believe part 2 of season 5 comes back in November.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Eric says Chris gonna have to talk like an Australian Canadian to pull off Wolverine for Halloween. Good day, mate. We'll work on it.
Yeah,
Or I
let's
just won't
work
speak.
on that. Just say bub.
Yeah, just Bub. Yes, Bub. No Bub. Or I mean,
Yes, bub.
in Deadpool Wolverine
Yes,
because
bub. No, bub.
that's all. Maybe Bub.
Yeah, that's right.
Is
It gets much crazier, Cookie. It gets wild and more crazy for
is
sure.
Wes Bentley like in the whole series? Like, is he a big deal?
Yep, yep, yeah. He is Kevin Costner's son, one of
Yeah,
his sons. Yep.
I love Wes Bentley. I think that he is
Hmm.
well at the time he was one of the best actors, but then he had some problems. He
Hmm.
dropped off for a long time. Now he's kind of
Hmm.
back.
Yeah, used correctly, I think he's a very good actor,
Yeah,
for sure.
used in Ghost Rider, maybe not.
Yeah, like even he was in the Hunger Games movies, and those were kind of a
Yeah, but he had the
he was
cool
just kind of
facial hair.
yeah, really cool swirly beard and everything.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I kind of want to do that.
yeah,
I think it'd be fun.
yeah. Hmm.
I always think that Wes Bentley looks evil. Like,
Yeah,
some
he's
people, I
got
think,
pointy eyebrows. I think it is.
whatever, I think it is the eyes, but something about him, like some people scream, oh, they look friendly, right? He
Mm,
does not.
yeah.
Like, if they were to find out he was actually Jack the Ripper and he's immortal or something, I'd believe it.
Yeah, totally believable.
Yes, I think I would believe it.
It would have been interesting. I think he was rumored for Batman for, was it Batman Begins?
I think it was. He was rumored for. I think Begins. I think he would have been good. I'd even take him now, actually, if they wanted to.
Mm.
He was also signed on to play Lestat.
Mm.
He actually had a lot of roles that fell through because of his personal problems.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine Begins probably wouldn't have helped him though.
Not at the time.
No, because I think it was on that came to more at the end of his hiatus,
Mm-hmm.
or when he decided he needed to do the hiatus. I mean, so
I get you.
or Wes Bentley, he just likes filming bags in the wind.
Oh my God, I forgot he was in what's that movie
American
called?
American Beauty.
American Beauty. Yeah. Oh my God, I forgot that was him.
Yeah, I think
Holy
that was his
cow.
first big role, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
I like him in that role. I actually love that movie. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
seen it in a long time, but I remember really, really enjoying that movie.
The most beautiful thing in the world.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was a sign of things to come.
Yeah. Not so good.
Nah. Anyway, let's get
Yeah,
into
okay,
season.
Chris. What'd you get up to the last the week in your geek side of things?
So comics, I just did not have time for. It was chaos all week. It just wasn't working for me. But what I did get a chance to read, which you and I were both so excited for, and I'm glad we both enjoyed it instead of what we
Mm-hmm.
had
Oh
with the
God.
other story.
Mm-hmm.
We the Frankenstein book. I don't remember the writer or the
Michael
artist.
Walsh.
Michael Walsh is a
Michael
good, yeah.
Walsh.
Walsh
Both
is
and
good.
both.
Oh, okay, cool. Easy
Yeah.
enough for me to remember.
Exactly.
I really, really like the Frankenstein book because the Frankenstein book, instead of being like a sequel, like
Mm-hmm.
Creature from the Black Lagoon was, this takes place during the story of Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very much the Universal Monsters Frankenstein, of course. So you're back in that world, and some things look similar enough. And the story of it is really kind of it's depressing, but it's also really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you guys who are not familiar with what the comic is, it is about I don't know, I guess the best way to explain it is Frankenstein is made of different people, of course, as we all know. And this is the story of one of those people, the corpse of one of the people that he is part of, and his son, the son of the corpse, I guess,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
finds Dr. Frankenstein with um, the parts and how that shakes out.
Mm-hmm.
I may have not explained that well, but I do what I can.
Yeah, the differing parts of the actual monster is the thing. And
Yeah.
there's the panel in the book where the kid comes face to face with the monster, and the kid touches his hand and he says, "Oh, that's not my father's hand." Like he knows what his father's hand feels like. So there's the idea that the monster is not one person. He's stitched together by multiple people, and the differing those the people and what their what their past lives were like, what who was in their lives before.
Hmm.
Like this little boy, like he lost his father and he's at the grave where Dr. Frankenstein and Fritz are digging him up, and all that kind of stuff. And he follows them back to the castle, and gets into some, I want to say hijinks, but hijinks is a fun word.
Yeah,
He
I
gets into
wouldn't.
some bad stuff.
He gets into some sad times.
Yeah.
That little guy learned fast.
Hmm.
I think the
Yeah,
phrase is, you're
sad
going to
and
learn
scary
today.
too. Hmm.
He learned. And there's also there's this panel at the end. I'm not going to describe it because you guys should read it. And it's cool, but
Hmm.
it is equally sad and scary.
Hmm. A lot of scary in it, I
Yeah, and
think.
it's very minimalistic, which adds to it. And it also, in my opinion, harkens. We're going to use the word harken. That's a new one tonight.
Hmm.
It goes to the original film, which was very simple visually. There's not a lot
Hmm.
going on in the movie. It's just you're kind of glued to it, and I feel like
Hmm.
that's the way the book is toward the end, and really throughout. It's just really a well done book all the way around.
Hmm. Yeah, I really dug this book. I'm a big fan of Michael Walsh. He does the art, for Silver Coin, one of my fave horror comic series. So I like his work altogether. So I'm really happy about that. One of the interesting things I liked about this book, and you talked about it, how this feels like it feels like the movie Frankenstein, just with an added little twist. Whereas Creature from the Black Lagoon, like we were saying, is a sequel, and the same thing with the Dracula book from Tynan and Martin Simmons. It's basically the story of Dracula, but with just like small twists here and there, and more of a
Yeah.
focus on Renfield. So I like this Frankenstein book where it feels like Frankenstein. Like this feels like it should, and just the addition of this kid and the more of the Fritz character and just some of the visuals that we get in this first issue. I was really excited to, after finishing saying, and after reading the Black Creature from the Black Lagoon first issue, be like, oh good, I'm glad I like this. I it would have been a real bummer to have two disappointing Universal Monster comics for me,
Hmm.
after really loving Dracula, to lead things off. So I'm really excited that I like this issue, but I'm just interested to see where it goes, because it's supposed to be about a different body part.
Oh, is
Um,
it?
yeah, like the next one is, if you look at the cover, it's got the brain
Oh,
aspect of
okay. I
it.
didn't
So
know
I
that.
think, like, I'm not sure if we're going back like every single time to, like, whenever Dr. Frankenstein and Fritz get the parts, but
Mhm.
that's supposed to be the story, is how each body part um, pulls the story forward. So I don't know how the kid is going to keep going with the story or
Oh, I
whatnot. So
don't
I'm
think he
just really
does.
interested in the story. Yeah, I assume so too. Hopefully Fritz is nice to this little boy.
Oh, I don't think so.
He's gonna start whipping him in the cellar like he did the monster back in the old movie.
That poor kid. He should have just let it be.
He should have just stayed at home that night.
Stayed at home, kid. Stay in the bayou,
He stayed in the bayou.
the
That's right.
German bayou. Oh, I'm sorry. It is Frankenstein. You're correct.
Oh, that's right, Frankenstein.
I like to see that Eric, in regards to Chris's Halloween costume. I like to see that.
Mm,
I'm
the
lost.
Australian Canadian accent, I think.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. I am not processing. If the issue is about the brain, is the following issue about his pinky? It might be. I'm looking
So,
forward to the issue about his sternum.
hmm.
It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, sternum.
How many issues is it gonna be? Do we know?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to double check
I
that.
think Dracula was 4.
Yeah, 4 or 5, I think. Right now we're solicited to 4,
Okay.
um, and it says the final confrontation. So that's the end of November. So it's possible we could get just the 4 issues.
Maybe the kid could survive 4 issues.
We'll see.
Hope for the best, huh?
Hope for the best for that little boy.
Poor guy.
Hmm.
But that was all I read. I had no time for anything else to read.
Yeah,
I was busy
that's
watching.
all I read this week as well. So there's one thing I did want to get to, and I thought that I did skim. Oh, I did read Saga number 68.
Hmm.
Feels like I just talked about Saga number 67, but it's so one thing I was thinking about with Saga, and even an ongoing issue where you're up to over 50 issues, and even like this is the same kind of thing about reviewing something week by week, or talking about or enjoying things week by week, when you have to, you know, review it as what you see, like saying let's like say the ending of a TV show sucks, but then the next episode explains it and it makes more sense.
Hmm.
It kind of get that way with Saga. Like we're on 68 issues. Like at this point, how can you review a single issue of Saga when it feels like it's just one long story at this point? And I wonder, like, I don't know. This is Saga is probably at 68 issues the longest series that I've read from issue 1 to the end. I'm not sure what you feel about that. What do you think is the longest you've read? And then
That one.
how do you like review each single issue at one, or do you do a kind of a whole thing at the end of
I
it?
think you have to do the whole thing because
Yeah.
issue by issue is fun and all,
Hmm.
but so many of them are meant to bleed into each other. It becomes
Hmm.
impossible. Like if you were to read like Scott Snyder's because I mentioned
Oh,
Batman.
right, I
Scott
read.
Snyder's
Yeah, yeah.
Batman is such a good example because you can't just read one Court of Owls issue and really judge it. You have to sit there for the long haul.
Hmm.
Zero Year, for example, is disgustingly long. I want to say it is 12 issues,
Yeah,
but
it's
don't
an
even
entire
remember.
year's worth of
Yeah,
story.
there's no way to review that issue by issue. It's just
Hmm.
impossible.
Yep.
And I think stories like Saga, because I think that's even why it's called Saga in a way.
Right.
It's not meant to be, issue by issue. It's meant to be volumes at the least, I would imagine.
Hmm.
Because the
Hmm.
volumes I think feel like I got through I think 2 volumes of it, and
Hmm.
those did feel like ending chapters.
Right. Yeah,
So
it's about
I
the
would say
chapter.
maybe I would say maybe the volumes if you want to do it that way, or just an overall story.
Hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. So that's kind of the thing with Saga. It's kind of, and like who knows if it'll ever end. It's just kind of you read it and say, oh, that's a good chapter
Hmm.
in this story, and we'll just carry on with the next because it kind of feels like at a point with Saga for me that no issue is any better than the other. It just feels like you were at a consistent level, and I think that'd be the same with Scott Snyder's Batman. Like like I off the top of my head, I can't ever think of an issue where like, oh, that just didn't feel right in the story, or the storytelling just wasn't there, the art wasn't there. Like Greg Capullo did the art for the entire run,
I
basically. Like
mean, the
I
last
don't know,
arc is
yeah. Oh, Bloom, you didn't like Bloom?
I didn't hate Bloom.
Yeah,
I guess I didn't understand Bloom. I still
you're right.
don't. I kind of like Gordon as the Bat Bunny,
Hmm.
but Gordon like de-aging by 40 years and then getting bigger than Bruce. That was a little hard. Like, why just put him in a regular bat suit at that point? But
Hmm.
which he did have too. So there's that.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah, fair enough.
I agree with you though on Snyder. Other than the Bloom stuff, it is the way it is.
Hmm.
And death metal. I love death metal.
Oh yeah, holy cow! Batman and Scott Snyder, I tell you.
And they're coming back.
Hmm. Not long now, just about a
Uh,
month away.
yeah, I think it's October 8th. I want to say
Hmm.
something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Good times are coming.
Let's hope so.
We'll see.
All right. So, what did you watch? Maybe we'll leave Only Murders till the end, and we'll kind of
That's what I
finish on
figured.
that, Chris, if you want. Yeah, cool.
So I really want to talk about this movie I saw on Monday. I had seen people talking about it, and I saw the trailer for it too, but the trailer doesn't really tell you what it is. The movie is called Strange Darling. I'm sure you've seen people talking about it.
Indeed.
Yeah, I know we mentioned it last week too, briefly.
Hmm.
This movie is incredible. It you think you're watching. I don't. It's hard to even explain without spoiling it. But like the trailer is cut a very specific way so that you don't know what's going on. And throughout the movie, that kind of continues until a point. And once you get to that point, it it just becomes this beast of a film.
Hmm.
And it's not like it's a complex plot or anything. It's told in an interesting way too. It's told in chapters, but they're not linear. It'll go from like chapter 3 to chapter 1 to chapter 5.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it's an oddly arranged film, but somehow it works and you don't miss a beat. And I want to say if it was told in a linear fashion, it wouldn't even hit the same way. You have to watch it like this
Hmm.
because it makes it stand out and it makes it more unique. And the performances are just nuts.
Hmm.
So, like Kyle Gallner, I think that's how you pronounce it. I know the name and I know I've seen him in stuff, but I'm not incredibly familiar with him. But I know I've seen him in stuff. I think he's a horror actor. He's
Mm,
really
I
good
would
in
say
it.
so. Yes.
But Willa Fitzgerald, she's the star of it. Really flawless performance. Like when we talk about how they should nominate horror actors for awards, this lady is in that category. I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, like Mia Goth as Pearl always stands out to me. Like that should have been nominated.
Hmm.
This I'm going to put in the same category. Not it for the same reason because Pearl is a terrifying person, but this is a different beast. But it is really really good.
So it's a slasher. Or what are we talking? Like
There's slashers.
psychological?
It's kind of like um, serial killer mystery,
Mm-hmm.
a thriller, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of things. It's
Hmm.
kind of funny too.
We talking like scary, like
No,
or
I
like
wouldn't say it's
ooh,
definitely not horror. I wouldn't call it horror.
oh, okay.
Cookie says, "I love Strange Darling." Kyle Gallner is picking great roles recently. What else has he been in that like stuck out? Because I know I've seen him in something recently, but I can't place it. She says, "I like that the story wasn't linear, and that they told you you were in the story." Oh yeah, they told you where you were in the story. That helped so much because if they didn't have the chapters, you'd be like, "What the hell is happening?" The
Hmm.
chapters are they're really cool the way it works, and I like she said, it's better that it's not linear. I really don't think it would hit the same if it was. You have to
That's
see it like
strange.
this.
It's
Um,
Kyle Gallner's in a movie called Mother May I, and his character's name is Emmet.
oh,
So
maybe you two are
he,
connected.
he's in Scream. He's in Smile.
He's in Scream.
Yeah, he plays Vince Schneider, whoever Vince Schneider is in the new Scream, not the original Scream,
Vince. I
the
don't even remember.
relaunch of Scream.
I don't remember. I've seen that movie a
Mm-hmm.
lot. Because the passenger is incredible. He's best known for Jennifer's Body. I've only
Mm.
seen that movie one time, and I don't remember liking it.
Yeah, a
Might
bunch
have
of
to
small
revisit.
stuff, mostly.
Might have to revisit it. But I have nothing but good things to say about Strange. I even like the soundtrack, and the soundtrack is creepy as shit.
Oh boy.
It's very creepy. It's I think their name is Z-Bird or something, and they did the whole soundtrack, and all the audio was just haunting.
Hmm.
There's even a version of Love Hurts, that old song,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow they found a way to make it more depressing. By all means, if anybody is curious about Strange Darling, don't read about it, don't watch anything about it, just go see it.
Hmm.
It is a wonderful time.
So there's a like a mystery to it. Is that what you mean by that? Or like what you see, like that trailer doesn't sell what it actually is.
Oh, it does, just
Okay.
differently.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good one. Just don't read about it, don't watch anything about it, just see the movie
Fair enough.
and just wait for the thing.
Wait for the thing. All right.
Wait for the thing. You'll know it when you see it.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes, it is one of the best movies I have seen this year.
Crazy.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not a horror movie. I just don't know what to really classify as. I
Okay.
think Cookie said last week it's a thriller, and I'm gonna go with that. It's like a thriller.
Yeah, the log line on IMDb says nothing is what it seems when a twisted one night stand spirals into a serial killer's vicious murder spree.
There you go.
So murder spree sounds pretty
No,
horror to me,
Hara.
Chris.
It's the Hara. No, it's not the Hara. It's just a murder
Okay,
spree.
not the
I mean,
horror. All right.
murder and horror aren't always together. Sometimes it's just murder.
Sometimes just a good grand old time of murdering people.
Sometimes it just happens.
Yeah, sometimes you're just walking down the street and just get murdered.
I mean, The Crow has a good murdery scene at the
Hmm.
opera. You know, it's
Is the original horror Crow? Do you think is
people
it a horror
consider it
movie?
horror, and I don't know why. It's not.
Yeah, I think it's more
It's
like
a
an action movie.
Yeah, it's an action movie. It's a gothic
Hmm.
action movie. If you have to
Hmm.
add another tag to it, it'd be gothic action
I get you.
or something like I don't know.
Sweet.
That in the realm of horror, I decided to watch Terrifier 2, which the first one,
Because
what?
Anthony made you, or
I will say Anthony did have something to do with it because his enthusiasm and his love for it, I was like, okay, I have to give this thing a shot. Um, and I did, and it's really good. It is so much better than the first movie. Like I
okay.
get it now. The first movie is terrible. I've said it before. I think it's trash.
Hmm.
That's just my opinion. I don't like it.
Hmm. Hmm.
There's no story. It's just a series of disgusting, brutal murders.
Fair.
Terrifier 2 has a story along with the disgusting, brutal murders. So I'm good with that.
Hmm.
And you also have Art the Clown, who I really think is one of the like he is in the same realm as Michael Myers, Freddy, Jason Voorhees. He deserves to be there. He
Hmm.
is something else. It's
Sweet.
like I think in some of these horror movies where there's like a monster or a particular killer with a personality, you don't root for them, but you also don't really hate seeing them. You know what I mean? Like Freddy is kind of beloved, and I don't understand why. You
Mm,
know,
he makes jokes.
yeah, he makes the jokes. He's fun, and oh, what is Freddy gonna do next? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Michael's kind of cool because oh, it's that stoic killer. That's
Hmm.
um, Art though is like pure evil. He's a different beast. He's
Okay.
like Pinhead. You
Hmm.
actively want him to get killed.
Is he supernatural, or is
He
he
is
just a
now.
dude?
No,
Oh, he
he
is
is
now
now.
in
He's
two or in all of them,
in
or
well, I guess all of them. In the first one, he just seemed like a man, and then in two, because of the ending of one, he's clearly supernatural. And then some other stuff happens.
gotcha.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing though, but it's still got brutal murders. Some of them are still hard to watch. It's really gory, but it's so much better than the first one, and it's a pretty decent movie. I'm actually looking forward to the third one now.
Yeah, I saw something online. Art dressed like Santa Claus or something.
Yeah, that's going to be a thing. It's set at Christmas.
Interesting. Is it coming out? Is it coming out this
No,
year?
it comes out. Yeah, it comes out October.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So that I don't know if I would recommend it.
I
Just
love
be,
those movies from you.
well, Terrifier it's kind of it's one of those gory or horror movies that a lot of people can't deal with,
Okay,
which I completely respect. I mean, I don't love gore very much, like this kind of gore. I can't really deal like faces, being peeled off and stuff.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
That's a little much.
Hmm.
But it's fun. I like it.
Terrifier. Does that have is that anything to do with the movie? I've always wondered that, or is just it's terrifying and he's the
No,
Terrifier?
this one they do link it. There's
Okay,
a reason as now they've linked it. The first
gotcha.
one there was just, hey, we need a name. It'll terrify you. The
Gotcha.
Terrifier.
Sounds like a wrestling name.
It does. Art the Clown, the Terrifier.
Yeah. Written by
Or
Vince
something like that.
McMahon. I believe it.
Yeah. Yoink's evil cousin or something.
That's right.
I watched that, and then after that, immediately I needed a cleanse.
Oh, yes.
So I watched Cuffs with Christian Slater.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was the perfect cleanse, and it still holds up for me. Still a good time. Weird fact though, I didn't know Mila Jovovich was 15 when she filmed this movie,
Uh-huh.
and in the movie she's pregnant with Cuff's child.
How
Or
old is
Christian
Cuffs?
Slater. 21 in the movie.
Nice.
But of course, she's supposed to be 21, but she's 15. It's odd.
15. Holy cow.
Yeah, it's really weird. And she kisses him in the movie, and they at the opening of the movie, like they're dancing, and she's in her underwear.
Hmm.
It's just bizarre.
It's the 80s,
Uh,
I guess, eh?
it was early 90s, close enough.
Is it? Yeah.
It was their answer to Beverly Hills Cop. He even has a theme song that's almost identical. It's really close. And then I just watched Beetlejuice again. Everybody knows I love Beetlejuice.
Yeah, getting excited for Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
Cannot wait.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the movies, and then I need to finish Rings of Power. I only watched one and a half.
My God, Christopher.
I know. I've been busy.
I get it. You got time for Terrifier. You got no time for Rings of Power.
And Terrifier is long too, by the way. Just saying.
Is it really?
It's like 2 hours 18 minutes.
Holy cow.
But I watched that the day before Rings of Power. So
Mm-hmm.
I have an excuse.
Unacceptable.
What'd you watch?
I watched a lot of Rings of Power. That's what I did last week. I was preparing for the season 2 premiere, so
Right.
I was watching I was watching Rings of Power season 1 instead of watching so many new things.
I respect it. Rings of
Which
Power
now
is
I
good.
won't have to do. Now I've got watching 9 hours or 9+ hours of Rings of Power is over with, so now I can just watch one at a time. It was tough enough watching the 3 episodes this time. Felt like 3-episode drop of an hour long each time just felt like a lot, but that's what I did. I watched a lot of season 1, Watched Murders, Only Murders in the Building Q. But then today I started watching that Terminator,
Oh yeah, yeah. How
Terminator
was that?
Zero. Well, and I talked to you about this. How I can't remember what word I used, but I think I said worried, or I was like concerned about it in some way or
Mhm.
another. Mostly because of the animation style.
Yeah, anime.
This will be my first anime that I've ever watched ever,
Hmm.
and I didn't know that it was full anime. I didn't know that it's originally Japanese. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah, like I went to turn off, like you have to turn off the sub or turn off the if you want to turn off the subtitles and the Japanese voice. And when you go to Netflix, it says like Japanese original. So then you go to English, and it's got English
Well,
actors.
it's new though, so maybe it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
released at the same time, but they.
I don't know because if even in the like it's set in Japan, or some of it is set in Japan, and like the
Okay.
writing on everything is Japanese, and it's got subtitles for what the writing means.
Hmm.
So like it's straight up anime, which has surprised me because like I figured Mattson Tomlin is writing it, he developed it. I think he's American. Don't know about
I
that.
don't know.
But I know he's not Japanese.
No, I know that. Yeah.
So so that was just something that I didn't know, that it was like very anime style. Set in Japan. In
Mhm.
It's got two different timelines: set in 1997 and then set in the future in 2022.
Cool.
Which is kind of interesting. So, getting past the anime style that I've never watched before, mostly because it's just I don't know, never like what are those very highly regarded Japanese movies from the very highly regarded Japanese director?
Oh, the
Um,
Studio Ghibli movies.
yeah, yeah. So like I've never seen any of those things. It's never been my style,
Oh,
even
they're
though I
good.
hear that they're very, very good.
Hmm.
Yeah, so this is kind of just a new thing for me. So aside from all that, the story is quite interesting and again very different from what I expected. The trailer that I saw, I must not have paid too much attention to it because I figured it was just all Terminators blasting people to smithereens.
Is that what it is?
Um, yeah, there's a lot more to it than that.
Oh,
um, it's
okay.
got a very interesting story set in 1997, basically, with a certain character and his family and his way of seeing the future and all this kind of stuff. So it's much more in depth than I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be straight up,
Oh,
straight up action.
Ian says
Oh,
it's
interesting.
produced by IG, who made Godzilla -1. I was interested
Interesting.
already. I mean, I was already sold, but that I like it.
Yeah, so like the action is very good. It's incredibly gory when it needs to be. But I'm only 2 episodes in so far. But I'm really digging the story, and I'm working around to the animation style. But one of the things that I like is just awesome to have something Terminator and a TV show,
Yeah.
which is also kind of the episodes are only 28, 30 minutes long, so it's very easily digestible. But I'm a huge fan of the Terminator series all the way around. So it's just kind of cool to see something that's new as well. Like there ain't like so far, there's no Sarah Connor, there's no Arnold Schwarzenegger, there's like nothing holding us back to those everything that we've seen before. It's all fresh and all new
So
so
there's
far.
no Edward Furlong.
Not yet, but there's still lots of time, Chris. I'll let you
Okay.
know.
I'm hoping that not John Connor, Edward Furlong makes the appearance.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the idea of like Star Wars without Luke Skywalker. It's like it's okay. There's a whole world out there,
Well,
and that's what this feels like.
I
This feels
like
like
that.
exactly.
I like that because Terminator, like, they haven't really explored the idea that it didn't just affect John Connor.
Yeah, it wasn't just in L.A.
Right. Judgment Day was for the world.
Yeah.
We all go away. It
Yeah,
wasn't just
exactly.
John and Sarah.
Yeah, yeah. The nuclear bomb only lands in L.A. and it's just a little bubble, and everyone's fine.
It just blows up that playground and we can't handle it.
That's right.
The world gets
Yeah,
destroyed. That's the point.
exactly.
We
Yeah,
never
so
see
that's
it.
what's really interesting about it, is the world building that this TV show has done so far, just in 2 episodes and
Ian,
just an hour in.
have you finished, Ian? He says the story gets pretty clever. It basically questions why AI like Skynet would turn on humanity and whether humanity deserves to survive. I would think AI turns on us because we keep asking it to make videos of the president. That'd
Clearly,
be my guess. And people eating various foods like squids.
yep,
That's a thing.
yep, yeah, that's right.
I watched half in Japanese. I realized it was an English dub with Timothy Olyphant and Rosario Dawson. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's another thing. Like, again, I was sold anyway. But Timothy Oliphant and Rosario Dawson,
Yeah.
I would give this to me. I would have paid to watch this in the theater. Oh, he did finish. He said it's great. Yeah, I want to get to it, but my plate is full. I gotta watch Rings of Power and probably
Yeah, so that was
Harry
and
Potter.
that was the surprise is I thought this was an American show. I didn't know which just
Oh,
with
that's
the
new as
anime
anime.
style. Yeah, I knew it was anime style, but I didn't know that it like here's my stupidity. I didn't know that like Americans can't do anime style animation.
Okay.
Like is that do Americans do like not Americans, but does North America do cartoons with animation style or anime style animation?
I don't know because I'm trying to
That's
think.
what
I've
I
watched.
assumed that we just did just because let's do something different. I had no idea.
I've not watched a lot of anime myself. I've seen some of the Studio Ghibli movies, and those are fantastic.
Hmm.
Um, but like the only like anime series I've seen are those Netflix ones, like Castlevania, and
Right.
I want to watch that Tomb Raider one. I watched The Witcher, but those are all Netflix, so I'm sure they're from the same production house. I'm not sure though.
Hmm.
Ian always mentions something on Netflix called Slam Dunk, I think is what it's called, and it's
Oh, right.
supposed. Yeah, I've heard that is fantastic. Not just from Ian, but basically any anime fan. Slam Dunk is like one of the best introductory animes, along with like
Hmm.
Ghost in the Shell. So
Right.
if we ever go on an anime binge, maybe that's what we'll do.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it for my new stuff. Lots of Rings of Power season 1 and 2, Terminator Zero, and let's talk about Only Murders in the Building, the
Before we get to
season
that,
premiere. All right, what do you got?
I want to make a comment about Rings of Power from what I have seen. Elrond is becoming Hugo Weaving, and I don't like it. He
Chris
was
hates Hugo Weaving, by the way.
he was fine in the first. He's like, oh, this is like a fun Elrond. He's not a Hugo Weaving, and now he is damn Hugo Weaving. Okay,
He's responsible, is what he is,
I
Chris. He's
don't like it,
responsible.
and I don't like his haircut. Um,
He's got like the Clark Kent
yes,
Superman curl starting.
he does. Oh, also Ben Daniels. I didn't recognize it was him. I'm glad you pointed it out.
Yeah, Ben Daniels, sexy Ben Daniels too, looking good still.
He
Goes
is
to
one of the.
vampire to elf just like that.
He's like one of the cleanest looking characters in the show. It's amazing. I was thinking about that as I watched. Like, why are all these people so clean? And then you look at the
Healthy
Harfoots.
Elvis living.
Oh, I guess so. Must be good. Cookie said she's so glad that Rings of Power is back. She really liked all 3 episodes.
Happy to hear that. Very happy to hear that.
Um, Only Murders.
Only murders.
Bearded Ben Daniels.
Exactly.
He's a good-looking gentleman
Yep.
when he's not talking about his stuff,
Nether regions.
his nether regions. Yes. I loved Only Murders in the Building. What did you think about it?
I really enjoyed the season premiere, and one of the things that I thought about was, and I think I thought about this every single time a new season was announced, is like, how are they going to keep me interested? It's the
Mhm.
same show every single time.
Mhm.
They make a joke about it almost like, oh, we need to find ourselves another murder. Let's find ourselves another murder and do another podcast. It's like, how are you going to keep doing this? And for me, they do. I don't know how they do it. Like they have great writers, and the three casts, Steve Martin, Selena Gomez, and Martin Short are just awesome,
Mhm.
continually awesome. The new additions, the new celebrity guest stars that they
Yeah.
have are lots of fun. I think the mystery is also really interesting. The idea. I don't know, spoiler, but the thing that happens at the end of the last season with Saz and how it starts with that character and the murder and the mystery behind it, I think was very good.
Mhm.
That changes like, oh, that's different. That's
Yeah.
there's
This
an
is different.
added they're adding mystery and they're adding something that's keeping
Intrigue.
me yeah, exactly. It's keeping me excited in a show that is the same show every single season. It's just them solving a murder. But they're doing it. And I love that they're doing it. And I think this is was a great premiere. Really do. Really, really happy with it.
Cosign. I think that
Mhm.
it is a show that shouldn't work as long as it has. It
Yeah,
should have been one season and done.
exactly.
but they keep making it work. And I know there's in the other season, there's a points where we say, okay, this is not making sense. What is happening? I
Mhm.
know we're going to get to that because it's every season. But then
You know?
also at the end of every season, we reflect, oh,
Uh-huh.
okay. So, but I think this is one of the strongest premieres they've had.
Mhm.
And I do like the way it's handled differently. It's not just murder, everybody's there. What happened? Well, it's
Mhm.
these three. You know,
Yeah.
it's different. And the ending to this first episode is probably one of the saddest things we've seen in the show, period.
So
And
interesting though.
dark. Like did not that was something else.
Yeah.
But I think the guest stars are going to be a lot of fun. I don't know how much they're going to be in it. Like Zach Galifianakis playing the movie Oliver is
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah. And just that whole scene. The kid from Home Alone, what did they do to you?
Yeah, that was good. Eva Longoria is Selena Gomez's character. That's
That's
something.
the strangest one.
Yeah, I don't really get that one yet, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Seeing Eugene Levy though, just makes me happy. I love Eugene
Hmm.
Levy.
Yep. Yeah, so I talked about the writing and how I really loved it, and then the three. But then you mentioned the ending scene, and I think the directing in this episode was very strong.
It was different.
Um, like they teased the ending kind of when Charles is watching Once Upon a Time in the West, and he's falling asleep, and that scene is playing, and then they integrate that into the final scene with the note. Like, what does he say? There's no talking in Once Upon a Time in the West for
Yeah.
7 minutes. It's just sounds, and how they blend that into the final scenes. I thought was really smart and really interesting. I messaged you about this, like this old timey Hollywood aspect that really feels like in this season.
Mhm.
They're on the lots, Paramount lot. They're showing Once Upon a Time in the West, and Oliver's character's talking about, over there sat what's his name, and he was doing blow and cocaine and all that kind of stuff or whatever. And it's just the and even the meta-ness of it with the three the characters playing in the movie, just something interesting about the like we saw this last season with the play.
Yeah.
I just like I don't know the entertainment style, the show business aspect of the show that they're really leaning on. They've done it often with Charles and
Hmm.
Brazos and all that kind of stuff. I like that they're really leaning into the entertainment business side of things
It's kind of
with
like
all the characters.
it's like a look behind the curtain or something.
Hmm.
And I guess that's part of the meta aspect of it. And like they could have easily said like Zach Galifianakis, Eugene Levy, and Eva Longoria are just characters in this world, but they're
Hmm.
not. They are Zach Galifianakis, Eugene Levy, and Eva
That's right.
Longoria.
Yeah.
Like Eva Longoria even makes jokes about her own career in it. And I think the way that they show certain things, like you said, it's got that look at Hollywood, and it's just cool to see it. You know,
Hmm.
even though of course it is fictionalized and it's a little bit of, it's a little extreme.
Hmm.
Maybe maybe this isn't as far off as we think it is.
Yeah, who knows?
But, with the way some of these movies get made, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, really, I've
Hmm.
seen Madam Web, so I get it.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so I think they really did a lot of the serious stuff really well, but then like the goofy comedy stuff is still really good.
Mhm.
The stuff with Howard and his the dog,
Yeah, the dog.
Gravy, and
Gravy.
like the slapstick nature of the show, I think is still really strong, which I think is one of the enduring things about the show on the whole is that when it needs to be serious and like sad, like you're talking about, it absolutely hits those marks. But
Hmm.
then the goofy nature of it and just like the slapsticky comedy um, does that as well. I love this show. Like, and I think we talked about this when we were talking about it before. It's a show for everyone. Like
Yeah,
my mom, I saw my mom the next day afterwards. We went for dinner, and she's like, "Oh, did you watch Only Murders?" I'm like, "Yeah, mom, I watched it." Like, it feels like it's a show for a lot of different ages, and like for people who, and like the idea of like Selena Gomez, the young person with two old people, like that whole aspect of it. But like for people our age, even I think people a little like 10, 20, maybe 15 years younger, and
hmm,
then the people 10, 20, 15 years older. It's got a wide range, and we talk about this with Ted Lasso. I think that's got the same wide range that does the serious moments very good, and does those goofy slapsticky comedy moments very good as well. It's a special show that way. I really think it is.
I agree. It just appeals to anybody.
Hmm.
And the tone is so well, the tones are so well balanced.
Yep.
Like, because even stuff that shouldn't work does. Like the
Mhm.
was it tomatoes? Is that what they were afraid of?
Oh my god.
The tomatoes in slow motion should not have worked,
Nope.
but it did,
Yep.
because you buy into this world so much and it captivates you, and the balance makes it okay.
Hmm.
It makes it okay to see them in slow motion being terrified of tomatoes, and then next scene somebody is dead. It just it works.
It really does.
And it's
It's
one of it is one of the best shows on TV
mhm.
or streaming,
I think
whatever,
so.
however they do
100%.
it these days.
Yeah, this is a great show to look forward to,
Hmm.
as well. Like this is a stay up late watch for you. I don't know if it is or not. Do you wait for this one, or do you watch the morning of?
It kind of depends. Sometimes I'll wait for it because Hulu does
Hmm.
it different. I think Hulu does it at midnight, so I don't
Oh,
really
okay.
have to
Nice,
wait for it. It's just
nice.
kind of I'm already
Hmm.
wired at that time.
Hmm. And this is one of those perfect shows where I'm glad it's not a binge either. This show relies on the weekly drop.
I think every show should be a weekly drop,
Hmm.
but that's just me.
Hmm.
Binging just makes it harder for me to watch. It's just the way it is.
Yep. Yep. I agree. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to what is this? These are Thursday
Tuesday.
nights, I think.
I thought they're Tuesday.
Tuesdays. Let me look here.
Yeah, I think it's Tuesday. Because I came home from Strange Darling and I watched it last Monday. So it
Yeah, there you
cleared
go.
up
Yeah,
the
you're
11th.
right. Every Tuesday, so that'll be sweet. Next episode's the third. Gates of Heaven. Next episode is called.
Fun.
Um, yeah. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to more Only Murders in the Building, a show that snuck up on me.
Yeah.
You were the one who messaged me about it and said it's out. I'm like, oh right, I didn't know it was that soon. And it was a show, I think, much like Terminator Zero. I watched one trailer, but I didn't pay too much attention to it. I just got that idea that there was the three and the movie making aspect of it. I didn't really look into it that much. So it's kind of a fun thing just to be like, oh, great, it's on. I'll watch it and enjoy the hell out of it.
Hmm.
So I look forward to doing that over the next 9 episodes after the premiere.
In the Bayou.
In the Bayou, always in the Bayou.
Hmm.
Okay, that's our thoughts on Only Murders in the Building season 4 premiere. Chris, anything else you want to chat about? Anything else on your mind? What's going on this week?
It's Beetlejuice week. I'm excited.
When are you seeing that?
I was seeing it Wednesday. I don't know when I'm seeing it now. I'll get to it. Maybe a nice Thursday afternoon. We'll see.
No, yeah, Thursday afternoon or
Friday
Thursday late
afternoon.
night.
Well, maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll make Wednesday work. I really don't know. I do not have my own schedule. It's not mine.
It's not mine to have.
It's not mine to have. No. We'll see what happens. But that's the only thing I'm looking forward to. Yes, happy Beetlejuice week to everybody who celebrates.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna
I
be
think a
fun.
lot of people are going to celebrate.
I think Beetlejuice is gonna be a gigantic hit.
What amount of people are you think this is going to be their first introduction to Beetlejuice?
Most.
Yeah,
I
you
think
think
there's
that's a problem?
no, I don't think it's a problem.
No.
But I think there are plenty
Okay.
of fans who will be seeing like fans of the movie and the animated series, of course. But I
Yep.
also think plenty of newcomers will be there from because they're familiar with Jenna Ortega. And I
Yes.
really think Catherine O'Hara is going to bring people too.
Hmm.
Because a lot of people have seen her on Schitt's Creek and like, oh, I know her.
Sure.
So that's my guess.
Nice. Just wondering, like that the first one is so kooky and so
It
off
is.
the wall and so different. Like I wonder about how that works for a general audience type of person.
Yeah, I'm kind of
I
curious.
like I don't think the original Beetlejuice is a general audience movie. It's a cult following type of movie.
I would
Would
say
you?
it's a mainstream movie. I think in
Yeah.
the 80s,
Okay.
this was probably like, oh, this is the thing. Because, it
Okay.
was different.
Hmm.
Also, I'd imagine people taking small children to it in the 80s.
Hmm.
I, I saw it as a small child.
Yeah.
But it's kind of interesting though, because as an adult, you watch it now, and it's actually pretty raunchy. Like Michael Keaton's Beetlejuice,
Oh, he says a lot of fucking weird things, man.
he does, he really does. It's hilarious, but he's got a personality there, I guess.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is how they had to distract him with a brothel. That's just one of the best things in the movie. It was the only way to stop him at that point. Here's a
Hmm.
brothel.
Yeah, they had to
Um,
distract him somehow.
it worked. He changed his tune and went over there.
Change his tune.
Changed his tune. Also, the effects in that movie are really cool too because they're old school and they're going to keep
Yeah.
that trend with the new
Oh,
one.
cool.
So, yeah, I'm very very excited for the new one. So that's kind of the only thing I'm looking forward to this week as far as entertainment goes. And of course, more Rings of Power or Only Murders, but Beetlejuice is
Hmm.
top of the list.
Awesome.
Are you seeing
Sweet.
Beetlejuice?
Uh Probably not. I gotta watch things at home. I saw that Kinds of Kindness is on Star here. I think it's Hulu for you guys. So I want to get to that. I started seeing clips of Long Legs on, I think it was my Facebook
Mm-hmm.
or something. Like I'm scrolling, so like that's out there. And it's the Nicolas Cage character that I saw. The one scene he's talking to a girl
Oh
in a park
yeah,
or something, and then the
yeah.
mom comes up. Why are you talking to my daughter? And he does this weird thing with his hand, and then he
Let me in
screams
now,
at her or
and let me
something.
be nice.
Yeah, so I'm like I think you mentioned it when you were talking about Long Legs, like how it doesn't look like Nicolas Cage.
Mm.
But like in the scene, I assumed obviously that's him because he's got this weird prosthetics on his face.
The
Um,
explanation they've said is that he wants to look good for Satan, so he got prosthetic. He got plastic
fair.
surgery to look good for Satan.
Yeah. So I started seeing that on my Facebook. So like I said, now that I don't have to watch an entire season of Rings of Power, I think I'm gonna have some time this week. I want to get to that. I'll get to Kinds of Kindness. I want to get and more Bad Boys is on my Facebook every time I
Mm-hmm.
swipe through that. So I'm gonna get to some. I'm hoping to get to a bunch of stuff, this week, and no new stuff, no theater stuff. Romulus will be on streaming in 2 weeks anyway, so I'll
Probably
just watch that. Um, so, yeah.
sounds good to me.
All right. Where can people find where you will be discussing Beetlejuice later this week?
You guys can follow me on the Twitter at that Chris70. You could find everything I do there. I do a few things, so just follow me on there. And I would love it if you'd follow this show at G of the Geeks. Emmett is better with the rest of the plugs, so he will take over.
You can follow me on Twitter at EmmettDavis7. And this is the week to follow Gathering the Geeks on Twitter, wherever you get your podcasts, because we are going to be having new episodes of Elves, Hobbits, and Potatoes in your podcast feed, where we're going to be breaking down season 2 of Rings of Power. We're going to drop one episode for the first 3 episodes of the show. It just feels like too much to talk about individually. So please check your feeds later this week. Hopefully, hopefully, by the time episode 4 is out, we will have an episode in your podcast feeds. But Chris will we'll see how that goes. But just looking forward to talk about Rings of Power. Looking forward to talking about Lord of the Rings. Looking forward to talking about those lousy Harfoots.
And that damn Elrond.
And damn that Elrond. Eric, thanks so much for watching. Cookie, we appreciate you every day. Ian, thanks so much. And Lauren, thank you so much for coming on. And Lauren, I haven't messaged you on Twitter, but I want to thank you so much for those kind words that you said to me and to a whole bunch of other well-deserving people as well. So thanks so much for watching. In saying all that, for Chris and I'm Emmet, and we gather on Sundays.
End of session.